Sometimes you gotta wonder if this whole COVID bullshit's designed to take out old people. Well, down in the links, and I don't usually promote Tim Pool other than say that I've watched him, but he did a video today that was very informative about COVID. Apparently there was a metadata analysis done at one of the universities, and the motherfucking it showed that basically COVID's not a factor, that they took, heart disease, cancer, and all of that and labeled them as COVID, and it shows in the graphs because of the all of those are down in mortality while COVID has gone up. So I'm out for my walk, by the way, in nature, same park as before, but needless to say, shit, I'm gonna fall on my fucking ass here. Oh, yeah, didn't die. So, I wanted to give my thoughts, because I don't want to reinvent the wheel. He did this video already, and it was very, very telling. The first part of the video, he goes over, in Canada, a 90-year-old woman chose euthanasia over living with lockdown. She just wanted to be with her family. She didn't want to risk being locked down and dying. So my first question there is, why wouldn't you just let her see her family? Instead of just letting her see her family and taking her chances with COVID. They just said, well, fuck it. I'm probably going to die anyway. I want to see my family before you lock me down again. Don't lock her down. That's the solution. That old lady'd still be alive today if they just lifted the lockdowns. Because for old people who are in nursing homes, particularly, lockdown is exactly that. You're imprisoned in the nursing home, cannot have any visitors, and you pretty much are isolated from, probably, I'd imagine, isolated from other residents, and only seeing your caregivers at any given time. In which case, I'd tell the doctor to put me out too. If I ever get put in a nursing home, which never happened. I don't know that I'm going to live to be 80. But I guess her family circled around, sang a song while the doctor, took her out. I don't know that lockdown is a justification for euthanasia, but apparently so. So, for all of you people who've been calling me selfish and an asshole and inconsiderate, I can guarantee you she wasn't the only one who's taken themselves out, assisted or otherwise, because of the lockdowns. The lockdowns need to end, people. When you're old, and this is just from my observations, being that I'm not old yet, well, at least not elderly. When you're elderly and you're getting closer and closer to the end, you give less fucks about the rest of shit and more fucks about relationships and people who are around you. Some people are happy by themselves, I'll give you that. But towards the end, the materialistic shit means a hell of a lot less, than families and relationships. and friends. Socialization. So when you throw a lockdown into the mix and tell people they can't be around their friends and family, you're essentially removing a reason to live for a lot of old people. And I've seen heartbreaking videos, I've talked about it in the past, of old ladies, you know, tapping on the glass of their nursing home prisons just because they wanted to hug their grandkids. When you combine that with later in the video where he goes over the now deleted, tinfoil hat shit here, now deleted study that COVID is not any more deadly than anything else around us, according to that study, which you can now only see on archive.org. So needless to say, you know, this lady died for nothing. And anybody else who is no longer with us because of the lockdowns is dying for nothing. Not to mention Emperor Cuomo, who, alongside other East Coast Democrats, and many other Democrats for that matter, decided to put nursing homes, decided to put COVID-19 motherfuckers into nursing homes again. Which is why the death rate is where it's at, and why New York is still king of the hill, while second place to Jersey in terms of COVID deaths. It's all political. It's financially motivated by the hospitals and Big Pharma. And it fits right into the Great Reset agenda, so that's promoted there as well by big corporations and big tech. That's why you see censorship to no end. That's why you see all kinds of shit. Two more people on the trail. Clearly a couple wearing masks while I'm talking to you about this. Triggered. Anyways, you know, the evidence about the death rate not correlating with the infection rate, about the death rate of all of these other major illnesses going down proportionally to the increase in deaths due to COVID-19. If you are not convinced by this evidence that is out there for your Googling pleasure, by all means follow up on Tim Pool's video and seek out not only the article that was deleted, but any evidence that that article cited, because they do have links in it. And do your own fucking homework on this. I, for one, am 100% convinced that not only did we lock down for nothing in the beginning, probably because of panic and fear. I'll give the politicians that. But the only reason we're continuing the lockdown this long, past the 15 days to slow the spread, if you remember that, is simply because politics, money, and fear, and the Great Reset. These are all things, they're weaponizing COVID-19 to do these things.
Surprise, motherfucker.
As I've said repeatedly, and I'll stop beating this dead horse. Lockdowns are I mean, I'm obviously going to still bitch because I'm triggered a lot. But lockdowns are bullshit. You know? Straight up bullshit at this point. I will say we should have locked down in the beginning because we didn't know what we were dealing with. We know what we're dealing with now. And not only are we being misled about the lethality of the virus by the media and by academia, if you look at all the shady numbers and all of the manipulated fucking data that's coming out, which they've been doing from the beginning if you watch my old keto shit. You know, not only are we being subject to manipulation through that, the laws and ordinances and power grabbing that's going on by politicians to support their corporate constituents, of course, while they have parties with them and restaurants breaking their own fucking rules. I gotta wonder how much more of this shit people are gonna put up with. I cannot, honestly, here in this country, I cannot believe the amount of shit that we're just putting up with. You know, just, oh, that's the way it is. I'm gonna go back home and watch Netflix now. Which is complete horseshit. But I didn't want to make that long video today. I am going back out on the road Monday for 1 week, and then that'll be it for a month. Working 1 week out of the month is fairly reasonable, even if it's feeding the corporate fires and the tax coffers of these corrupt motherfuckers. At least it's just doing the bare minimum, to not fund these assholes. If I can keep myself under the 30,000 mark for the year, which seems within my grasp, I won't be paying shit tons of taxes to them. So, but what the fuck do I know? What the fuck does Tim Pool know? He'll tell you. Now, I know some of you are triggered by Tim Pool. Please shove your biases aside and just look at the information he's presenting. You don't have to agree with his opinion on it, or his talk, or his ideology, or his politics. Just look at the data for yourself that he presents. That's what the whole point of the commentary community is. It separates you 1 degree from the media and allows you to hear the whole story. That's what this is. This is opinion. Believe it or not, Tim Pool's not a fucking journalist. He's an opinion guy. He's a commentary guy. You don't go to him for news. You go to the news he cites if you want, and then you make your own decision on whether or not it's real or fake news. But you just gotta roll with it. But what the fuck do I know? I'm not an expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Please like and subscribe for more shit, and I'll make more shit. If you like my videos and you want me to spend more time making videos, please head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com and leave a tip in the virtual tip jar, and I'll make more shit. I'm still going to be filming while I'm out on the road this week. I got to climb that shit. I'm still going to be filming while I'm out on the road this week, so look forward to that. It's going to be vloggy style, bare minimum. When I get back from my trip on the road, I will schedule the next DLIVE podcast, talking about whatever is pissing us off at the moment. I'll probably get into some of the election through my vlogs this week and through the podcast later. But, there's just so much shit going on. And I gotta say, I've taken myself away from it a bit because I've really been cracking down, learning 3D, as you saw from the music video I just put out now. Keep in mind, I suck at 3D still, and that's what that's all about. Plus, I used backgrounds that are licensed from FL Studio, so as in I had the license to do as long as I put the credits in the thing. So backgrounds are, were from FL Studio's visualizer. Now I tweak them, change things a bit, but the foregrounds, those were 3D objects I modeled and animated and rigged. I'm particularly proud of the eagle because I used photogrammetry to model it, and then I rigged it and animated it. So I turned what was just a knick-knack into a fully animated eagle, which will be making quite a few appearances in my videos. But this is a spectacular area, by the way. Just gotta say. But, try to keep your chin up. Do something to take you out of it regularly. Go and visit your friends and family if you feel safe doing it. I went out for Black Friday yesterday. The mall was jam-packed. It wasn't as packed as a normal Black Friday, I'll give them that. But, yeah. No social distancing whatsoever. Everyone was wearing a mask. Oh well. Makes a lot of sense with the current orange rules in place that say you cannot have more. You can't dine in. If you can't dine in, but you can cram together in a fucking store. More COVID horseshit. The hypocrisy is staggering. The stupidity is staggering of these rules and laws and lockdowns. And I don't know how we can get people to be like, fuck this shit. So many people are just content to do as they're told, because the media tells them to be scared. Meanwhile, walking around out here, I had Thanksgiving dinner. I was the only person at Thanksgiving dinner, my friend and his mother and his grandmother, both of whom smoke, by the way. I was the only person in the household that has not tested positive for COVID or had symptoms all summer, for that matter. Like I said, I think I had it in February, but I don't know. And I had no fear of that. And they described, it sucks. It's an illness. It's not fucking cool. It's not fun. It takes a long time to recover, from what I hear. But overall, you'll live. And you'll get back to normal. And they seem to be getting back to normal, albeit a little more tired for a while, and fatigue, and, just general not feeling well. Not being their best selves. But my friend had talked to some people that had tested positive previously about it. And basically after a month or two, you're back to full speed, essentially. So COVID sucks. But it's not lockdown suck. It's not euthanize your fucking grandmother suck. It's not murder thousands of nursing home individuals who have all these other morbidities sucks. All right? Don't put them in there. Protect the vulnerable. You should be doing that anyway, regardless of COVID. I've been against nursing homes for a long time for this reason. Protect who you can. But let people live their lives. If an 80-year-old woman wants to see her grandkids, she knows about COVID. She probably doesn't give a shit. She just wants to have all this time. And she'd rather have that time to visit her family than be locked up by herself to live longer. And that's why we see that case in Canada of the 90-year-old woman who was euthanized simply because she didn't want to go into lockdown again. Because she thought she might not make it out of lockdown. So she's like, well, let's get it out of the way now. Some would argue that's her choice. I think it falls on the media, it falls on the government and the lockdowns that's forcing people to make that choice. And it's sad, and it's selfish, and it's bullshit. All right? But the hell do I know? I'm a selfish asshole. Which I've been screaming about this the entire fucking pandemic, and people still occasionally come in and tell me that I'm selfish because of it. And yet you have shit like that going on. And I guarantee you that's just the one we know about. I'm willing to bet there's a lot of old people that walk down that road. A lot of people in general. Being that people taking their own life is up 600%. Anyways, I went off on another last minute tangent. Thanks for sticking around. Sometimes you never know what kind of shit is going to get me going before I close the video out. So, back on the road. Monday, got a truck assignment. I'm not taking a lot of shit with me. Taking a laptop, a couple cameras, sketch pad, and basically one controller for my music. And that's it. And a bunch of clothes. And I don't know if I'm going to take a bunch of food shit with me. I might try without it and just rely off of truck stops for a week. That ought to go well. I'll feel like $1 million after that. But, the hell was that? So that's it for this video. Thanks to all of the people who've contributed over the past week. And, I do appreciate it. It's keeping me going. And, hopefully we can keep this channel going for a while. Alright, have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. By the way, I'm out here part for exercise. And I brought a camera that I'm getting some 3D things. Since I learned photogrammetry, which is where you turn a bunch of pictures into a 3D object, I'm kind of addicted to it. Like, I'm like, what can I model? What can I put in 3D? And I'm getting there. So, and then once I'm good at it, I can make money with it, selling models, or just making content with it, or teaching people how to do it. Possibilities are endless. And fuck Cuomo. Fuck him. Fuck him every day. I close out every video now saying fuck Cuomo because he's a piece of shit. I hope he gets old and then they lock him in a room and they tell him he can't see his fucking kids and grandkids and that he has to go tap on the fucking glass like a fucking idiot. Yeah, let's see Cuomo suffer this fucking fate that he's condemned tens of thousands of old people to suffer. You fucking piece of shit motherfucker.